Okay, Standard 3A states I can analyze political issues such as Indian policies, the growth of political machines, and civil service reform. So, with this standard, what you need to know is the Dawes Act. The Indian policies that were created, that the government created, were known as the Dawes Act. And basically, what the Dawes Act did was it removed the American Indians from their land and basically made them give up their culture in a sense. They had to become more Americanized if they did not plan on going to the reservations that were set up from the government. So, Indian policies, the political issues, the Dawes Act removed the Indians from their land, put them on reservations that were created by the government, and basically they were their land was taken from them, and they had to assimilate or become more Americanized. So they also lost their culture. Another political issue during the Gilded Age were political bosses. As we have an influx of immigrants coming in, we have political bosses, Boss Tweed being the most well known. Basically, how he gained his political power was he bribed the immigrants that were coming into the United States he basically bribed them saying that he would improve the infrastructure and social services like food and housing and sanitation on the streets if people voted for him. So basically, the immigrants would vote for him because they wanted the infrastructure and the social services within the cities to improve. So he got his power, his political power, even though he was not necessarily qualified to run for political office. So, with that being said, that being a political issue, the political bosses or political machines, we get the civil service reform. And basically, the civil service reform, which also could be called the Pendleton Act, it made it to where political bosses like Boss Tweed had to take tests or exams to prove that they were qualified to run or serve a particular office. So, because of the political bosses and the issues that they had during the Gilded Age, you get civil service reform, which now requires people to prove that they are qualified to do a certain political job. So, you have civil service reform. On the test, we have one question that pertains to 3A. It was question 5. During the 19th century, one way political bosses gained voter support was by. So here we're trying to figure out how political bosses gained voter support. The answer choices are A, campaigning for women's suffrage, B, advocating for the use of poll taxes, C, making improvements in urban infrastructure, or D, providing public assistance for former slaves. The correct answer for this question is C, making improvements in urban infrastructure. So remember the political bosses, as immigrants came in, we had an influx of immigrants. They basically said that they would provide infrastructure or social services if they were to receive the immigrants' vote. So the correct answer is C. A is incorrect because campaigning for women's suffrage, political bosses were not trying to promote women's suffrage, which was the right to vote. B is incorrect, advocating the use of poll taxes. Poll taxes do not come about until the Progressive era, so they were not advocating for poll taxes. And D, providing public assistance for former slaves. Yes, they did provide public assistance, but it wasn't for former slaves. So former slaves makes this answer choice incorrect.